Welcome back in to the Chris Mathis podcast. I'm your host, Chris Mathis, alongside my co-host, I should say in front of my co-host, Spencer Mathis, for episode 8 of the Chris Mathis podcast. Glad to have you guys with us once more, whether you're tuned in Spotify, Apple Podcast, Anchor, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. We do appreciate you guys. We want to start off our show today with the unfortunate news from earlier this week regarding the school shooting at Oxford High School, in which a sophomore, Tate Muir, who was one of the victims that not only got shot, but also passed away in the incident, was trying to buy some time for some of his fellow classmates by disarming the school shooter. And he did, buy some time. Unfortunately, he was shot a few times and passed away in the cop's vehicle on the way to the hospital, I believe. But I saw this story because on Twitter, we saw that the school is trying to rename the football field after him and try to honor him for his efforts, because honestly, that's a true hero right there. He was just 16 years old, a sophomore at Oxford High School, and tried to buy some time for fellow students, fellow student athletes, doesn't matter, by trying to disarm that school shooter. And he did buy some time. He saved lives. So Tate Muir is truly a hero, and I felt like we had to plug him here on the podcast. And I know it incorporated sports, but there's so many victims that are still trying to get over injuries, some that have not had their names released that have passed away. So we're going to leave it at that. But Tate Muir will not be forgotten, and we shared a story on this on Twitter. So go check out our Twitter, TCM_pod, for more if you guys are interested. And we'll also post the link in our bio here today on the show. So check out the Spotify bio, YouTube bio for the link to go sign that petition to get the name of the stadium renamed to Tate Muir Stadium, which would be unreal and well-deserved for a 16-year-old student. But first and foremost, on the content of today's show, am I wrong? I don't even have to partake in this segment for the first time this season. I went 0-6 heading into last week, and I predicted I shouldn't say the first time, but for the third straight week, I picked the Falcons to pick up a win and prove me right, and they did win. They won on Sunday, and they prevailed as they beat Jacksonville in the Sunshine State by a score of 21-14. And I was not wrong. It was an awesome feeling. Granted, Trevor Lawrence threw an interception early. Then James Robinson fumbled the ball on the very next drive that the Jaguars had the football. So all things were set up for the Falcons to succeed. It was a matter of taking care of the ball. They did that. Some way, somehow, the 2-point underdog Atlanta Falcons squeaked out a victory, a 7-point win. Cordero Patterson had two touchdowns, and the Falcons prevail. So you take away Patterson, you take away Trevor Lawrence's fumble or Trevor Lawrence's interception, and or James Robinson's fumble, and I'm wrong once again. But I feel good getting that off my chest. I don't know how to feel excited because I thought it was kind of cool being the host that I was 0-6 right here on the podcast with my hot take, and now I'm 1-6.
Yep.
But with all that being said, it feels good to kind of get the Falcons off my hot take train because, again, I picked them 3 straight weeks. Got a lot of hate mail from Paul McBride, the Pugh brothers, the whole 9 yards regarding my prediction. Because for me, the worst that you get out of it was the fact that I'm wrong once again, or the Falcons lose. I could care less about the Falcons losing, but I was finally right. I'm 1-6 on my hot takes. Spencer had a rough week, unusual for him. But it was a good prediction. It was one that I was hoping you'd be right with, that the Lions would prevail on Turkey Day and would beat the Bears. 27-21 was your prediction. Mm-hmm. They fell short. Talk more about your mistake there, Spence, and talk more about that game.
Your choice was some good low-hanging fruit. I mean, the Falcons were playing the Jaguars, so we hope that the Falcons would win that game. They are in the playoff hunt right now. And I'm happy Cordero Patterson had a good game coming back from an injury. Helped me beat you in fantasy, so that helped me as well. But going back to the Bears-Lions game, I'm happy that the Bears ended up winning that game because they needed it, and the red-headed Andy Dalton is a stud. He played a good game. I feel like the Lions could have won that game if DeAndre Swift didn't get injured in the first half. In the first quarter, actually cost me a fantasy win in my sleeper league, but It was a good game all in all. They won by 2 points against the Lions. I feel like the Lions deserved their first win. They played good. Their offense is just so one-dimensional with Jared Goff. They have to run the ball every play. And whenever your top running back's out of the game, I mean, you're not going to win it. So the Bears picked up a win, proved me wrong, and that is, I think, my second or third wrong hot take this season.
Yeah, not bad out of 7 takes. Cairo Santos hit the game-winning 28-yard field goal on Turkey Day to kind of close out that game and seal it, I guess, with no time left, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a heartbreaker because we were all around the TV on Thanksgiving and watched the game.
We were hoping for a Thanksgiving miracle with the Lions winning a game.
Yeah.
But
a bowl of kneecaps, according to Dan Campbell, head coach of the Lions. It did not happen. They fell short to the Bears on a last-second 28-yard field goal.
And a good decision by the Bears to take the field goal because kickers are 93 of 93 within 20 yards on game-winning field goals in the last 3 seasons. So it's a good choice, unlike what Leonard Fournette did where he ran into the end zone with 20 seconds left. I mean, it's good for him that he got 4 touchdowns, but it was a risky decision for the Bucs, and Bruce Arians didn't like that.
And then to add on to that, the kickoff special teams group almost gave up a kickoff return.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch. Last year, they were statistically the worst special teams in the National Football League, and hasn't gotten much better.
They really haven't been very good on special teams since we lost Russell Shepard a couple years ago.
Yeah, we just let him go, and since then haven't heard from Russell Shepard, but he was awesome.
He's still pretty good at special teams.
Yeah. Also, one more thing, I wouldn't call it a hot take, but it was something I was right on. I said that Deshaun Jackson would score from 55 yards out because he likes the attention from social media on Turkey Day, primetime, and we're sitting there watching the TV, and you point up and say, hey, Chris, look, 56-yard touchdown for Deshaun Jackson. He graded out like an 85 grade in that game, so his best game in years, I think probably since
Tampa. He had a couple good games with Fitzpatrick,
Yeah.
But a big win for the Raiders.
So I'm not wrong. You're wrong, but that's okay. Hopefully you can sweep up that mishap this week. We'll get into that
I'll tell you
hot take here momentarily. But we do need to talk about our big 3 and talk about, if you want to reflect on last week's Turkey Day games, that's solely up to you. But I do want to mention your comments from last week in which you said, eat during the Chicago-Detroit game, fall asleep during the Raider-Dallas game, and not wake up until the morning time after the Buffalo-New Orleans game because those 3 games are going to be bad. Tell me if you hit on all 3 of those.
I don't think I hit on all 3 of them. I think the first game sucked, even though it was a 2-point game. The second game was actually good. The Raiders and Cowboys had a great game. Some missed kicks ended up plaguing the Cowboys, like you said. But the third game was just an absolute awful game. I mean, Trevor Siemian versus the Bills is just not going to be a good game. I don't care who Trevor Siemian's playing. I mean, the Saints have just fallen off the wagon since he's been the quarterback. So I think I was right on 2 of those game choices of falling asleep and eating, but the second game was definitely a must-watch TV game. Good game.
Fortunately for Saints fans, Trevor Siemian, a thing of the past this week. Taysom Hill
I don't know if that's fortunate. I feel like he sucks as well.
He does, but we'll see. At least they have some hope. Whether it happens or not, they at least have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
We have something to look forward to with our big 3, and we have a big-time game. We'll start it off with our big-time Buccaneers at Falcons game. And you think, okay, the Bucs are an 11-point favorite heading into Atlanta this week, as they should be. They are the better team. They won earlier in the year. I think 48-25 was the final score.
It was a bit closer than that. Remember, Mike Edwards had the game-winning pick 6, and the Falcons were coming back. I think they had scored like 15 unanswered points at one point. Then Matt Ryan throws the pick 6 like he does this season, and they ended up losing to the Bucs. But yeah, an 11-point favorite for the Bucs is a pretty good spot.
Yeah, Bucs first place in the NFC South at 8 wins, 3 losses. Falcons are second place in the division, just 5-6. But that's crazy. That's why this is a big game because
Arthur
the Falcons.
Smith. How about that?
Falcons are at home, and if they win, like you said off air, they have a shot to make a playoff appearance this year as a wild card team in the NFC.
Yeah, this game actually has playoff implications because if the Bucs win this game, they're top 2 in the NFC if the Packers or the Cardinals lose. And then if the Falcons win this game and the Saints lose this week, the Falcons are number 3 in the wild card, taking the Vikings spot. So this is a big game, and I think Atlanta's going to play a good game. I think the 11-point favorite's going to drop before Sunday. I think the Bucs will be favored by 7, and I would honestly take I would go with the Falcons being within 3 in this game. I think it's going to be a close game.
Really? Okay.
Cordarrelle Patterson's a very good player. Usually I don't like to start players against the Bucs defense, but I'm going
I
to
do
start
this
him this
year.
week. He's very good.
You got to like the matchup this year. Bucks defense.
Not running backs.
Other than running back, yeah. Bucks defense still number 1 in the league after a tough 2-week stretch where they went from 1 to 3, but then this past week where they locked up Jonathan Taylor
Like I
of the
said.
Colts. Yeah, you did.
I did.
I was wrong there, but it wasn't the hot take, so it doesn't count against me
I counted.
record-wise. But, yeah, Thomas Edward Brady II, Jr., whatever you want to say about Tom Brady. He's 8-0 all-time against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons struggle at home this year. I believe they're a one-win team at home. Bucks have struggled on the road, but last week they played in a very tough environment, beat the Colts in Indianapolis, beat them single-handedly. I feel like it was a good game until that special teams kickoff return that gave me fits, and I thought that the Colts were going to take it back for 6. But otherwise, Tampa looks to be firing on all cylinders on offense. Defense got better as the game went on, and Frank Reich, head coach of the Colts, had a terrible game plan in the third quarter where they went away from the run entirely, didn't incorporate Jonathan Taylor. They should have at least incorporated him as some, I know that the Bucs run defense was stopping Jonathan Taylor a good bit, but 22 straight pass plays.
I disagree with you there because the pass was working, but Carson Wentz just throws up a punt and it gets picked off by Antoine Winfield, and that just destroys their whole game plan because at that point the Colts were up by 3 points. So I think that the game plan was working at that point, and Jonathan Taylor was like averaging 3 yards a carry. So
yeah, but you got to give him the ball out of the backfield. They didn't even throw him the ball. You can throw the ball.
He's not the greatest as a receiver.
Yeah, fair enough.
They were throwing it 8 yards per pass.
Yeah, they did. And again, the fourth quarter, you saw that Jonathan Taylor was able to get a 60-yard drive. It was all Taylor in that fourth quarter to try to bring the game within a score. They did bring it within a score. Yeah, they did. It was a good game down the stretch. Talking here, our number 2 Big 3 item of the week happens to be Monday Night Football, in which the New England Patriots play in Buffalo. Huge game. A lot on the line in this game, I feel like, because this is going to show who's the pretender, who's the contender. And coming into this year, I had the Buffalo Bills against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think that's wavered for me in the big game. I think that's changed a good bit. New England looks to be legitimate. With Bill Belichick, of course, at the helm. You've got Mac Jones, who's dicing up defenses by playing smart. And their running back situation there with the Patriots is very, very reliable. Yeah. They've got 2 or 3 different backs that do a good job. But big-time game on Monday Night Football, ESPN, 8-4 New England Patriots play on the road against the second-place team in the division, the Buffalo Bills, 7-4. I think that this is a huge game just in terms of trying to find out if Josh Allen and the Bills are legit, or if the New England Patriots are legit, or which one you can sweep under the rug or say, hey, we're going to put this team up on the pedestal as a true contender. What are your thoughts on this game, and why is this a big-time matchup here on our Big 3?
Yeah, this is a huge game between Buffalo and the Patriots, of course, but in this game, the Patriots come in with a 6-game win streak, and Buffalo, I think, is going to destroy that this week against the Patriots. Usually, if the Patriots didn't have a 6-game winning streak right now, I'd probably pick them, but I just don't think they're going to win 7 in a row. Even though they are a complete team right now, 6 in a row is very good. They played a lot of quality opponents, but they are in Buffalo. The Dildos are going to be out there on the field, per usual in this matchup, and I think Josh Allen's going to pick it up and throw it for a touchdown, and the Bills are going to win this game.
Yeah, again, like you said, the Bills a 2.5-point favorite. I don't think that they've played like a 2.5-point favorite, but they are the home team.
I don't
Bills
know.
Mafia.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty close. That's good. Just because they're the home team. If the Patriots were home, I think they'd be favored.
Yeah, and speaking of the Patriots, Mac Jones wants to trademark a slogan, MJ10. What are your thoughts on that? I'll go first. I think it's a joke. I don't like it at all. It's like SJ39 with the Falcons 8 years ago. MJ10?
I mean, I feel like every NFL player goes through this, so I don't see why it's a problem, honestly. He's a rookie.
It's a money grab, but...
Yeah, but that's every quarterback. I mean, Brady has TB12.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I didn't think about that. TB12.
And JM9.
Yeah.
Grab it, JM9.
Oh, yeah, but we can't... We love JM9.
Yeah, but...
We do. But yeah, fair enough.
Thing.
Okay. I don't know. I just thought maybe it sounds weird. MJ10. I don't know. I would have tried to find...
Jordan.
Yeah, that's exactly... I guess that's what the...
Is that the problem, MJ?
Yeah, I think that's the issue. Now, our third big three ticket item of the week that you guys need to think about, and we spoke about the current situation that unfolded in Washington several weeks ago with the Washington football team. RG3 made the headlines, and we're also going to talk about Cam Newton, but I'm flashing back to 2012 when both these quarterbacks were relevant. RG3 won the Rookie of the Year back in 2012. At the time, quarterback of the Washington Redskins, not the football team. But big news broke earlier this week, and I think it's ridiculous, but he wants to release a book later in August of 2022 called Surviving Washington. First and foremost, Surviving Washington makes you think that he went through the ringer there with the Redskins, even though there were reports during his time and as quarterback where he was doing good that he was too close to the owner of the Washington football team back in the day. Players in the locker room were upset. Coaches were upset that he and the owner of the Redskins were super tight. And now he says, Surviving Washington is the title of my book. What's your initial thought process on...
I'm going to take this way out of the park, but I feel like that title just implies that he went through hell. I mean, there's books like Surviving the Holocaust, and that's kind of what that book makes me think about. Like, there's no way that his situation in Washington was that bad. I mean, FedEx Field is known for taking ACLs, and it did it this year to their defensive end,
Chase Young.
So, I mean, I don't know what he survived. I mean, the book's going to come out. I'm not the biggest RG3 fan. I feel like he's a clown, honestly. I've seen a lot of his tweets. He gets a lot of backlash because he says stupid shit over and over again. But RG3 hasn't been relevant since 2014. Even in 2014, he wasn't really relevant anymore.
He was just there.
So, I mean, this book is honestly just going to get him money. That's basically all he's going for. I mean, he's an NFL analyst right now. No one really pays attention to him, so might as well release a book about whatever he went through in Washington. I don't know.
Well, he was an NFL analyst. I think this might hurt his...
Yeah, I mean, Washington, everyone knows Washington has the worst medical team. I mean, Trent Williams had a tumor in his head, and it went unnoticed for years. I mean, they acted like it didn't happen. But I mean, we all knew that RG3 was injured. It's not like they made him play. He wanted to go back out on the field. They didn't let him. So I don't know how this book's going to go. I'm not going to read it, but I'll read the comments about it in August of next year or whenever.
We might have to read it right here on the podcast, or at least read it and then mention our top 5 takeaways from the book, because
I'll look up some Spark Notes for it.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Quick summary.
RG3 said it's going to be an explosive tell-all, and I quote, about the shocking management and toxic culture within the most dysfunctional professional football team in America. Now, we've called that organization
they are. He's right about that. I mean, Washington is only in the news for bad things. They're never in there for good things. They're like Camilo Cabello, bad things with MGK. The Washington football team is just going to continue to take hits for the next couple of years until they eventually change their name to the Red Wolves. So as they're a football team, they're just going to take shit over and over again. We've seen the Patrick Mahomes, Jackson Mahomes stuff on Sean Taylor Day. Now we're going to get this book next year in 2022. I mean, it's just going to continue to be a spiral down. And then you know that the emails from their owner are going to come out eventually. So
I'm not surprised that there's some kind of screenshot in this book. Like, hey, look what Snyder, right? Dan Snyder sent me. But also he says that it comes out August 22. Take note that back when Ryan Fitzpatrick went down, quarterback of the Washington football team, we forgot all about that because he was the starter going into this year. He gets hurt.
Yeah.
And then I think it was hip. He's getting old. And then as soon as that happens, RG3 goes out on social media and says that he wants to make a comeback in Washington. This was just months ago. And he said, I want to finish my career where it started, blah, blah, blah.
RG3 is a worse version of Lamar Jackson, and he's 10 years older. In 10 years, I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be a good quarterback, let alone RG3 right now, who hasn't really started a game that was meaningful in the NFL since 2014. I just think that's stupid.
No, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, like, he's saying it's a dysfunctional organization, and then 5 months ago...
and then he said he wanted to go play for him. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I guess it is new ownership, though. They did switch owners this year whenever they changed their name.
Yeah, but this happened just months ago because Fitzpatrick was ready to go this year.
Yeah.
Like, week 2, he was ready. And he said that he wanted to play in Washington week 2. So
and now he's releasing the book. So
yeah, releasing the book. And what that tells me now is that he knows his NFL career is over. And if it wasn't over, it's officially over now. Because if you're
once you release this, it's like the Colin Kaepernick situation. Once you release something bad about the NFL, you're not getting back in.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's also making his owners and his agent, everybody, the coaching system there look bad. Even if they are bad, he played buddy-buddy with them when he was with the program. But finishing up here with our number 3 item on the big 3 of the week with this Robert Griffin III book, he also says that he's going to detail the medical mismanagement that he received during his time in Washington. He's going to open our eyes regarding sexual harassment that permeated the walls of the building and give you a deep dive into a power struggle between one of the most powerful coaches in all of sports and an owner that many of you want gone. So he's making money.
Who was the head coach at the time? Jack Del Rio? Is that?
Shoot, 2012.
Yeah. I can't recall.
And let me find out, because this is a big deal. Washington Redskins.
I honestly do not remember.
But they had a decent year. I remember we went to the movies. They played the Bucs.
Yeah.
Remember Mike Shanahan.
They sucked in the beginning.
Mike Shanahan. That makes sense.
Head coach.
Wow,
I don't remember that.
2012. So that's our big 3.
He
and
does have a lot of stuff.
I thought it was appropriate that we finished the big 3 with RG3 on the big 3. College football playoff rankings came out earlier this week, and Cincy still in the top 4. That was cool to see for all of us that are pulling for the underdog. Here's a little update. Georgia at number 1, Michigan at number 2. They jumped 3 spots from number 5.
Wow.
Alabama at number 3. Cincinnati stays at 4. Even if they had a huge win, they're staying at 4. Mm-hmm. If they lose by 3, they're out.
Yeah.
The committee will just immediately blow them out of the water.
They also usually don't play anybody, so there's really not a good chance that they're out at this point.
That's true. But they are playing Houston, right? I believe they're playing Houston this week.
I believe.
Houston can play
They
spoiler.
usually play well, but their defense is just so bad.
You're exactly right. Oklahoma State jumped 2 spots from number 7 to number 5. They're on the outside of the college football playoff looking in. The Fighting Irish are currently at number 6, and they could find a way to squeak in. Unfortunately, Brian Kelly just left the program, gave up on them. When he says in a press conference that he still believes they're a top 4 team in the country, he leaves, goes to LSU, but the issue here is that even if somebody slips up out of the top 4 and, Notre Dame wins and they somehow squeak to number 5 and they're considered for the top 4, the committee has said that they really put a liking on the head coach situation, and that was a huge deal in the equation for if you make it into the college football playoff, which I find is a joke because
the whole committee is a joke. I mean, 4 teams is a stupid playoff in the first place, but Brian Kelly's a sellout, a stooge, and a clown. I mean, he's only going to LSU for the money. He scheduled that meeting at 7 a.m. Said that lasted 2 minutes.
I saw a video. Yeah. It lasted 4:18. So I give him some credit. I did watch the video.
Know. I just feel like you shouldn't jump ship at the end of the season. Just wait 1 or 2 more games. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, but neither is LSU, so what's the point in going now? And
if LSU was really high on you, they would have waited that 2 weeks for you to finish out your tenure with Notre Dame.
Maybe he's just a big Johnson fan. Maybe he just really likes the LSU quarterback.
He could. We're going to hear from Max's dad, Brad, on the show here in the coming weeks. I'm setting that up probably later this week for 2 weeks out. So
nice.
NFL quarterback for 15 years, Brad Johnson, will be here on the podcast. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have video. We'll have the audio. Of course, whole 9 yards. That would make up a podcast. But Notre Dame kind of in a pickle right now. They had a shot at making an appearance, but now that their head coach is gone, I don't see a shot at all that they find themselves at number 6 or number 5, squeak into number 4. I don't see it happening.
I just think that the playoffs should be 6 teams at least. I mean, the fact that only 4 teams get in and it's going to be Cincinnati at number 4. Honestly, I wouldn't mind watching Cincinnati lose and getting taken out for Oklahoma State at this point. They're not going to be able to compete in the actual playoff at all.
So we just keep rooting for the underdog of the underdog with Oklahoma State.
But I feel like Oklahoma's definitely better. Their quarterback situation's much better. Cincinnati's going to crumble on defense whenever they get into a big game against Alabama or Georgia or a team like that.
Well, talking about the college football playoff here, this is not the first time that Brian Kelly's done this. He was with Cincinnati, had a phenomenal year back in 2009. They went 12-0. We're getting set for the Sugar Bowl against the Florida Gators. He gets the job offer with Notre Dame, bails before the bowl game, chased the money, and this is a report back in December 12th of 2009. The report said, did he just follow the money? I don't know, and neither do you. I think that storyline could be plugged right now, but we can say it was for the money.
100% he did go for the money. But this week has a huge game in Alabama versus Georgia. And if Georgia absolutely smacks Alabama this week, Alabama right now at number 3 could fall to number 5. If that could happen, I mean, only if Georgia destroys them by like 30 plus. But if Georgia beats Alabama in a close game, Georgia's going to have to play Alabama in the first round of the playoffs in a couple weeks. So I don't think you're going to beat the same team twice. So if I'm Georgia, I don't know how I want to play this game. I'm not going to show everything that I have in this game because chances are you're probably going to play them again in the first round of the playoff.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But if Alabama loses, they're out.
No, if it's within 14, I think Alabama's still in just because of Saban.
Okay.
You don't want to take them out if you're the committee.
That would make sense then. I'm going to be watching the game in Chicago this weekend. So
yeah.
Hopefully they can make it a game. I don't know. I think track record says that Alabama is going to win this game. I think Georgia has a great shot to do so, but it comes to coaching and coaches that have been there in this situation. Kirby Smart is not, he's been in this situation, but he's not been in the situation where they're number one.
Yeah.
The consensus number one in the playoff poll and the AP ranking. So,
I could see it going anyway, but this is a big game for Kirby Smart in Georgia. If they win this game, this is one of his biggest wins. But they're going to have to. If they win this game, Alabama's going to at least fall 1 point. They're going to have to verse them in a couple weeks in the playoff, and I don't like that. I don't like playing the same team twice ever.
I think 2 is okay. 3, we saw it last year with the Bucs and Saints. 3 was different, but
yeah, you usually don't beat the same team twice though.
Generally speaking,
in a sport where you only play a team usually once per year at the most.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds. We had a lot of rookies across the National Football League that showed out this week. In fact, I was kind of in a pickle as well. I was trying to figure out which of the 2 candidates that I wanted to pick. So I do have I guess I could say, honorable mention for my rookie of the week. My honorable mention is Mac Jones, 23 of 32, 71% completion percentage over the weekend, 310 passing yards, 2 tutties. I'm not going to say tutties actually because that's Tom Brady's word, but
you can say it.
I don't know if you can because he is in New England. He's taken Tom Brady's job.
He's doing a great job at it.
Doing a good job. Phenomenal job. This team reminds me a lot of 01.
Yeah.
Of the Patriots.
Bill Burr was on the Pat McAfee show today and said that.
Really?
And
okay.
I agree. And Bill Burr is a comedian, but he speaks the truth when he's talking about the Patriots.
Yeah, he's a big Patriots fan, right? I think I've seen his Twitter videos all over.
Yeah.
But that's my honorable mention. Mac Jones, my player or rookie of the week, is Patrick Surtain, the second. Defensive back for the Broncos had a huge week. 5 tackles. Okay, that's good for any DB. 2 pass deflections. Okay, looking like a lockdown guy. He had 2 interceptions, 1 for a 33-yard touchdown, and their win over the weekend.
Yeah.
Broncos defense looked really good.
Broncos are playing great.
Yeah,
right
they
now.
are. And they have a big game this week. Who are they playing? They've got, look here at my cheat sheet. They've got Kansas City.
Yeah.
They've got a shot to beat Kansas City.
And I like to see the Broncos play well with Teddy Two Gloves. I hope he can get in the playoffs somehow.
I do too, because I'm not worried about them if they somehow squeaked into the big game.
It would just be fun to see them in the playoffs.
I agree. Who's your rookie of the week and why?
Well, my rookie of the week is Jalen Waddle, the Penguin himself, the Batman villain. He had 9 receptions on 10 targets for 137 yards and a touchdown, and him and Tua have been connecting. Tua is top 5 in November in 3 starts because he missed his first November game, but he's top 5 in November in most quarterback stats. I mean, he's playing great, and if Tua didn't miss any games, I feel like Waddle would be up there for Rookie of the Year right now. But since Tua's returned, Waddle's been playing great. The Dolphins have been playing good. The Panthers usually have a good secondary, but this week their offense was just so horrendous with Cam Newton that the Dolphins just took advantage, and Tua was throwing it all over. Didn't care who he was going against. Dante Jackson got injured, the Panthers cornerback. He's out for season. He's going to be gone next year, which is crazy because I feel like he was just a rookie, but he's already gone at the end of this season.
They're not hurt now. He's not playing, and
he's out for season.
Him.
Yeah. But yeah, I got Jalen Waddle, great receiver, a lot of good receivers in this rookie class, and it's been fun to watch this season.
We also have to mention Tua Tagovailoa. He's gotten a lot of hate here on the podcast, rightfully so. But when you look at numbers, which people lie, opinions lie, stats don't lie. Through their first 16 career NFL starts, he has a better touchdown-to-interception ratio than Kyler Murray, better completion percentage, 67% compared to Murray's 64%, better passer rating, 90.5 compared to Kyler Murray's 87.4%. And then you look at his record, which I don't think a record's really a quarterback stat, but we're going to throw it out there just to make Tua look better than he actually is. 9-7 record through his first 16 career starts. Arizona's quarterback, Kyler Murray, 5-10-1 through his first 16 starts. So Tua has really picked it up, And I got to give him some credit because he has been put in a weird situation. Coaching staff hasn't believed in him, but he's playing well and trying to get over that finger injury on his throwing hand as well.
Yeah, he's playing great. He completed 87% of his passes against Carolina last week. I mean, he's having a great season in November at least. I mean, the Dolphins went 4-0 as a team with the one game that he missed. They won that as well. So the Dolphins are hot right now. The Broncos are hot right now. I mean, both of our Rookie of the Weeks are playing on big teams that have a chance at the playoffs. I mean, they're both sitting a little bit higher than Atlanta right now, if you're looking at it from the AFC side. I mean, that's who their comparison is. They're a little bit better than Atlanta, but the Dolphins I think that they can sneak into the playoffs. So I think their defense is good enough. If Tua continues to play good and throw the ball down the field like he's been doing, they'll be good.
2 or 3 years ago, they were a pretty decent team. They fell off.
Yeah, they were good last year. They just fell off at the end of the season.
Yeah, they started off the year really hot, red hot. So we talked about our Rookies of the Week. We have to look across the boards at all players, veterans, second-year players, 15-year players, 22-year players, and a guy like Tom Brady. My player of the week has to go to Bengals running back Joe Mixon, who finally put 2 and 2 together. This is a guy that I've bought into since his rookie year. I thought this guy was going to be a big-time bang-type player, but he's been more of an inconsistent banger-bust type, or boomer-bust.
I bought into him ever since that Barr video came out whenever he was in college. That's when I knew he was going to be a great running back.
And he didn't get in too much trouble. But Joe Mixon led the NFL with rushing yards last week. Career high, 165 on the ground. Nearly 30 rushes. I think he had 28 carries, 5.9 yards per carry, 2 rushing touchdowns. That's awesome, man. That's a phenomenal stat. They won big time. Here's also a cool stat to tag along with that regarding Joe Mixon. He's the first running back to have 2 touchdowns in a game for 4 consecutive games since 2006. Can you take a guess as to who that was?
Danny Tomlinson.
No, you're close. Guess one.
How?
More.
Not 2006?
2006.
I have no clue.
Steven Jackson.
Oh,
St. Louis Rams. He did the same thing.
I feel like LT in 2006 would have been that, but I guess not.
You would think that, but so Joe Mixon has done it. Hopefully he continues with that. He's done really well. I would love to have him in fantasy, but I kind of gave up on him after last year.
After drafting him every single year for the past 4 years. Exactly. That's what I've been doing, and he failed me, so... But this week, my player of the week was Cam Newton. He went 5 for 21, 92 yards, a 23% completion rating. I mean, he killed it. He had a 5 QBR this week, and they lost to the Dolphins by 23 points. No, I'm just kidding. My player of the week this week was Leonard Fournette. 4 touchdowns, should have had 3. Honestly, should have just went down at the 5-yard line. Let Ryan Suckup hit the game winner, give him some confidence, because the situation of going in the end zone with 20 seconds left is very risky. We saw Todd Gurley do that last year with the Falcons, and they ended up losing the game to the Lions. Matthew Stafford was the quarterback back then. And speaking of Matthew Stafford, he is not good right now. He is sucking. A lot of people are saying that maybe it wasn't the Lions all these years that was holding them back. I mean,
I'm not going to go that far, but he's not
good
doing
right now. And he's been the reason they've lost the last 4 in a row actually now. But this week, my player of the week was Leonard Fournette. 4 touchdowns, 130 yards, the game-winning touchdown. The offensive line played great. He didn't have to do too much this week, honestly, but 4 touchdowns for anybody is going to win you player of the week. It won Austin Eckler player of the week for you last week or 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, and Jonathan Taylor for you last week. He had 5. So 4 is the magic number. Yep. Shankarooski segment of the week. We continuously talk about this great segment put on by Drip and Ice. Check them out, dripandIce.com. The coolest, the coldest gear in town or wherever you're at. But they do have a great list of inventory right now. A couple of hoodies still left in stock for you to purchase. Crew necks are popping off the shelves.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to witness one the other day. So we're ready, Thanksgiving, waiting on the family to pull in. I go get the door for my grandma. We call her Mama. And open up the front door. Here she is. She walks in. I see this logo. Dope logo embroidered on the sweatshirt, gray sweatshirt, pink logo. Says Drip and Ice, forget the G. Looked awesome, felt legitimate, felt awesome, made in the USA, very comfortable. She loved it. I mean,
yeah.
She's what? I'm not going to, she's 50 years old. Let's give her take her.
She's 45.
45 years old. And she loves it. It's made in the USA, was bragging about it, said that the emblem on her left arm was awesome. The ice cream cone logo, phenomenal. $15. I don't care what brand it is.
She walked in like Jack Harlow said, "What's poppin'? Brand new merch, just popped it." And she came in with some fire merch onto the Thanksgiving family table, and everyone was freaking out at the gear that they saw. And I think we got at least 4 more orders of Drip and Ice on that day.
Oh, without question. And $15 crew neck, you can't beat it.
Instagram story, Instagram post. I mean,
you got to go snag one. Snag one right now. So across the league last week, we saw 19 missed kicks total. That's field goals, extra points, the whole 9 yards. This week, we saw a little bit of improvement in regards to extra points. A total of 14 missed kicks. 11 of those, however, were field goals.
Yeah, and I think the reason that we saw less kicks is because the kickers had a little bit of turkey in their system. They were calmed down. They were honestly at the stage of taking naps. Kickers weren't taking long field goals. If they were missing them. But I think the turkey really helped this week with the kickers, and that's why 5 less field goals were missed.
Well, one guy that did miss a field goal that was very critical in a 3-point, 36-33 loss to the Raiders was Greg the Leg Zuerlein.
Greg the Leg, yeah.
Yeah, he's been he didn't play bad, but he missed 4 points. He missed a 59-yard field goal. It was 59. It's far.
Yeah,
but it's still
his
field
name's
goal.
Greg the Leg.
Yeah, Greg the Leg for a reason. This guy,
he
can make field goals. He also missed an extra point. If you tack on those 4 points, they win the game against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, and Derek Carr with a big game again, and he leads the league in passing yards now. And Trayvon Diggs is overrated. I want to just get that under the way right now. 7 interceptions this season, all of them just him being in the right spot at the right time. He's given up the most yards in coverage this season. I don't understand how people think he's top 10, but I just wanted to throw some dirt on Trayvon Diggs' name.
I do recall earlier this year you tweeted he either is a big-time
He's getting
player with an
interception,
or he's going to get
interception.
Toasted.
Yep.
And that's exactly what's the storyline. And again, he has 7 interceptions on the year. A rookie.
J.C. Jackson has the same amount as him now. He's a second-year player.
Jackson? Okay. Yeah, Diggs. Well, I think that I've seen him on tape, and he does get beat down the seams. Down the seams, he gets toasted if he bites on a play. Now, moving on with our hot take. I know that we saved this for later in the segment, but we know that you guys have been listening. We got our wrap of our, I guess it's Spotify wrapped up, and you guys listen to our podcast.
Spotify is promoting good stuff, wrapped up. You got to be wrapped up for everything, and I'm happy I got my Spotify wrapped up today. I got to read through it, got a new lecture on what to do in the situations that they talk about, and they told me to wrap it up, so it was important.
They say that they listen to our podcast in prime time, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. My hot take for this week, pretty obvious. I kind of referenced to it earlier. I think the Bucs beat the Falcons. That's no big deal. The Bucs have struggled on the road. They're on the road in Atlanta. It's a big-time rivalry here. Atlanta's struggling at home. Okay, you think whatever. Well, you said this earlier regarding college football, that it's tough to see a team win twice against the same team. You said that, not me. We're going to see Atlanta host the Buccaneers this week. It's an 11-point game, 11-point spread. Tampa Bay predicted to win. I've got the Bucs blowing this team out of the water by 21 points. That's my hot take. Bucs fire on all cylinders. You're saying they're not even going to be wrapped up.
They're going to blow them out of the water.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to blow them out. Blow their backs
100%.
out. Easy win.
100%.
Okay.
21-point victory plus. It could be 27. It could be 35. I don't care. Bucs destroy the Falcons, and I have to do it because I do mean it. That they're going to kill the Falcons on the road. But I've picked the Falcons as my hot take the last 3 weeks. They did me a favor. I'm going to do the Dirty Birds a dirty favor and go against them this week. Tom Brady 8-0, career all-time. We reflect back to the 28-3 victory in the Super Bowl a few years ago. Tom Brady does not lose. And then just to add the cherry on top, he posted a video earlier this week stating, now we are on to Atlanta, huge division opponent. It doesn't get any bigger than this, which is kind of questionable, but okay. He also said, it's December football. We will be ready to go. That guy could tell me right now to go run out in front of the 8-lane highway, and I'm going to do it just trusting that I'll live because it's Tom Brady.
I'll do it just to put myself out of the misery, honestly.
Yeah, okay,
just run in front of the highway. I don't care.
So what's your hot take, Spence, and why?
I feel like that's last week. I feel like that's a weak hot take. I mean, it's December. Tom Brady is the best December football player.
I don't think
maybe the only other one is Aaron Rodgers. He's up there as well in December and November. But my hot take this week is that the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs. You've got the Falcons on your mind a lot. I can see that. I've got the Chiefs on my mind a lot, and I like to pick against them. And I've been right most of the time.
Falcons live rent-free in my head at all times.
Yeah, rent-free. But I've got the Broncos in this game against the Chiefs. The Broncos come in hot. The Chiefs just had a bye week. They had time to prepare. But we'll see if they come into this game wrapped up and ready to destroy the Broncos D. I just don't think they will, honestly.
There's nothing to lose if they do lose. I mean, there's only something to gain.
I mean, honestly, for my fantasy team, it'd be good if the Chiefs won because I have Mahomes, Williams, and Tyreek Hill. But I'm going with the Broncos in this game.
I know a lot of our listeners care about fantasy football like you do, like I do as well. And we've done our fantasy football to the moon football player pickup of the week. In fact, I hear the pick 'em up in the background. You hear that, Spence?
Pick 'em up!
There we go. Heard it even louder. This week, I got to go with Lions running back Jamal Williams for good reason, too. He's had a great year, inconsistently, depending on how many times Dan Campbell wants to run the ball with the Lions offense. They run the ball almost too much, but it works. They stay in a game. They wear down defenses, and honestly, why are you going to give the ball to Jared Goff? He's absolutely atrocious. There are no wide receivers on the Lions. I also want to credit Jared Goff's failures this year to the Lions receivers. They're bad, but we saw DeAndre Swift go down with a shoulder injury early last week or early in that game on Turkey Day against Chicago. Jamal Williams had 20 touches in that heartbreaking loss, but there is one positive. He had 65 yards on 15 carries, 5 receptions, 18 yards. Williams has had some fantasy football success this year.
Yeah, I like him. He was good with the Packers last year as well.
He's had 2-3 very productive fantasy football games. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about overall performance in the game, because 65 yards in a game, whatever. But in terms of fantasy,
it's good.
We're talking about a waiver wire pickup. Jamal Williams this late in the season is available in 50 to 55% of your leagues. He's only started in 18% of those leagues. He's going to be a great pickup, and I back my word on this. I picked him up in both my ESPN league and my sleeper league. He is starting full-fledged, full steam ahead, and Dan Campbell said earlier today we're going to lean on Jamal Williams quite a bit in our game this week. So if that doesn't tell you guys,
good choice.
I think so too.
So I'm going to reference back to the wrapped up, and I'm going to pick the wet bandit himself, Derek Carr. Derek Carr's had a great season. He's going against the worst pass defense in the entire NFL in the Washington football team, the worst organization in the entire NFL, the Washington football team. And they don't have Chase Young anymore because FedEx Field claimed another ACL.
The worst field in the NFL.
Derek Carr is going to have a good game. I think 22 points plus in this game. So Derek Carr is my pickup player of the week 2 weeks in a row. I'm pretty sure I picked him last week as well, and it was correct against the Cowboys. So hopefully you picked him up last week and got to keep him, because more people are going to pick him up. I think he started right now in 60% of fantasy leagues. But if he's not picked up in your league, pick him up.
And if you're not going to pick this guy up, what you do need to do is catch our pick 'em of the week.
Peter Piper picked him up.
Because we're going to do a lightning fast speed round through here.
Talking about for the nightcap.
Exactly. Talk about a nightcap. We'll talk about our Thursday night football game, Dallas at New Orleans. Dallas, a 4.5-point favorite. They've been disappointing to me. The Saints have been very disappointing as well. Saints are the home team. 8:20 kickoff. Saints still have 5 wins, 6 losses, even when their starting quarterback goes down. Jameis Winston out for the year. Their second-string guy struggles. Then Michael Thomas is out for the year, basically wants to quit. You see Jameis Winston celebrating in the locker room with crutches on a torn ACL.
And that cursed him. That was a cursed image, and that they've lost every game since then.
Well, yeah. I mean, you talk about a witch doctor there in New Orleans. Who do you got in this game and why? I asked myself that because I'm going to say it first. I think that the Saints win.
Yeah.
I think Taysom Hill.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. Well, that's why it's a pick. I think that Taysom Hill is going to do something.
I've got the Cowboys in this game because the Saints have a tight end at quarterback in this game, and the only thing he's good for is QB draws, and eventually he's going to take a big hit to the head, and he's probably going to get concussed because he can't throw the ball at all, and we've all seen that. So I've got the Cowboys in this game, even though the Cowboys have an awful secondary and an awful defense overall besides Micah Parsons. I've got the Cowboys still beating NOLA because the Saints have just fallen off. They're 0-4 in November, and I think they're going to go 2-2 in December. They're not going to beat the Cowboys.
Well, Cowboys receiving core also a little bit beat up. Amari Cooper questionable for this game, but they think there is a shot for him to play. We talked about the Bucs, Falcons. I've already given my pick. What's your pick, and what's your official
Tampa
final
Bay
score?
by 3.
Tampa Bay by
Yes.
3 in that game on Sunday. Big-time division matchup. And again, Falcons need to win this game to stay alive.
And if they do, they're alive for real, like actually. Because a couple weeks ago they were 4-4, and we were talking about playoffs. They lost 2 in a row. Now they're 5-6 after beating a great team in the Jacksonville Jaguars. But if they beat the Buccaneers, it would be their statement win, and they'd be in a good playoff spot as the third wildcard team.
Moving on now, Joe Flacco was activated for the New York Jets. Not sure if he's the starting quarterback, but they will host the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts had a interesting game last week. Eagles are a 6.5-point favorite on the road against the New York Jets. I think they probably look more like themselves. Jalen Hurts, 13 pass touchdowns, 8 interceptions on the year, but he's top 5 in rushing yards,
Yeah.
top 8 in rushing touchdowns. The guy's playing really, really good. I think they cover that spread. I think that the Eagles win on the road in New York. Battle of green teams, of the green beans, if you will, this Sunday.
Yeah, it's very wild how much the Eagles and the Dolphins mirror each other just a year apart. I feel like this Jalen Hurts situation with him as a rookie is a lot like how the Tua situation went down last season. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is great right now. Of course, he's a rookie. He sucked last week. They lost to the Giants, a very bad loss.
Well, not a rookie.
Take.
Second year.
Is he a second year already?
Basically a rookie because he didn't start.
Yeah, I think of
technically a rookie.
For some reason in my head, I still think of him and Tua as rookies, but Tua's taking the next step. I don't think Hurts is going to do that, but he's playing the Jets, so I've got the Eagles in this game, defeating the Jets by 10. I think it will be a decently close game, and I don't think Mike White's out there. Zach Wilson's back out there. He sucks, but I've got the Eagles beating the Jets in this game.
Texans will host a 9-point favorite Indianapolis Colts team this Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff. Texans are terrible, but they are kind of a pitfall team that I feel like opponents don't really put too much thought into. I don't think the Colts win by 9. I think they win. I don't think they cover that spread. I think I'm going to go 28-7, 28-10.
The Texans are pretty good. The Texans are playing decent. I mean, their coach is a bum. I don't even know. I couldn't even name their coach if I were to think. Like, I do not know their head coach.
Yeah, I can't either.
It was one of the weakest head coach hirings I've seen within the last couple of years.
Too.
Yeah, but I feel like the Texans are like a Venus flytrap. I mean, you don't expect them to eat you, but you fall right into their mouth at their home stadium and you lose to them. But in this game, I've got Indianapolis. I mean, Indianapolis is a good team. They need to win this game. They can't fall into a trapped loss. They can't lose this game against the Texans. So I think they're going to cover the 9 points, probably win by 14.
Bengals will play against the Chargers in a big-time AFC matchup. Again, this is one of those situations where I feel like it's a...
That's a good game.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretender and contender. I'm disappointed in the Chargers. I think Herbert's played well. I think Joe Burrow is playing very well.
Yeah.
He struggled midway through this season about 3 weeks ago. Picked it up last week. He's number 1 grade-wise in PFF, so he's playing really well. Bengals a 3-point favorite, a bit of a shocker in a way. They are at home. I think the Chargers come in here and they look legit this Sunday. I think they win by 6.
This is a good game. This is a very good game. I mean, it's a battle of the rookie cards that we have, and I'm hoping Herbert has a good game, but he's very on or off this season, and last week he showed it with the 2 pick sixes to Surtain. One of them, of course, wasn't his fault.
That's right.
But because Jared Cook absolutely sucks, he has stone hands. We've known that for years. He sucked with the Saints. He cost them the playoff game last year on the Antoine Winfield fumble. But going back to the Chargers versus Bengals game, I've got the Bengals in this game. I think Joey B's slinging the ball around. And out of the quarterbacks under 25, I like him the most. I feel like he's the toughest. I feel like he's the most fun to watch for me, honestly.
I love his speeches, too. He's a very motivational
He's a very
type guy.
very good quarterback, very good leader.
The Miami Dolphins take on the New York Giants. They host the Giants, the New York Football Giants. 1 o'clock slated games. Tua Tagovailoa is playing against Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon is starting. Yeah, I like Mike Glennon. Glennon God. I'm trying to reference John Gruden there, who's no longer in the NFL. Mike Glennon, 1 touchdown pass, 2 picks on the year. This is an intriguing game. I think that this is a game in which the Dolphins could just absolutely murder the Giants. And the Dolphins look like a good team after this game. Yeah. I think they win. They're a 4-point favorite. I'm not surprised if we see a 38-10 type game. Dolphins win.
Yeah, I've got the Dolphins in this game. I mean, Dolphins are like killer whales. I mean, they're known to go for the neck. And Mike Glennon has the longest neck I've ever seen on any person in my entire life. I compare him to a giraffe, but I've got the Giants losing in this game by 14. I think Tua is going to have a good game. The Giants' defense isn't the worst. I think Bradbury's a pretty good cornerback, but I've got Miami winning by 2 touchdowns. I think Waddle's going to have another big game. The Penguin himself.
I used to think that Mike Glennon was the future of the Buccaneers, and the issue with...
I thought that as well until I saw him fumble trying to throw a ball with no one around him.
Yeah, I think it was against the Giants.
It was against the Panthers. We were there.
Oh, yeah.
It's our first game.
Right. Well, the issue with Daniel Jones is that he has a hurt neck right now. His neck is a little bit beat up. Why not just take some of Mike's neck?
I feel like a team, if their quarterback was good, I feel like that'd be a good decision, but Daniel Jones sucks as well, so I feel like might as well just put Glennon out there, honestly.
The Detroit Lions hope to bite off the kneecaps off of Viking. This Sunday as the Lions host the Minnesota Vikings. Lions are a 7-point underdog. I think that's fair. I think that Kirk Cousins has played very, very well. Underappreciated, 23 touchdown passes, 3 picks, 105 passer rating, over 3,000 yards passing. I think
they've got a very good receiving core as well. Yeah.
Destroy. I'll go 40. I think it's going to be a 40 burger, 40-17.
I would have liked this game
Vikings
last week
win.
as a Thanksgiving game. I feel like that's a good Thanksgiving matchup over the Bears. The Bears are boring, but the Vikings lose a lot of games in heartbreaking fashion. They've been in games 8 times this season where the game's been within 3 points within 5 minutes left of the game. I mean, they've played good. They just can't close out games. But in this game, I've got the Vikings defeating the Lions by 14 probably because there's no DeAndre Swift and that's all they have. So,
oh man, don't say that. I hope Jamal Williams balls out.
I think he'll have a pretty good game.
Hopefully he gets 2 tutties for your fantasy football
I'm going to go
team.
1 touchdown, 70 yards.
Okay. That's not a hot take because I think that's pretty accurate. The LA Rams will host the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are coming off a touchdown loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Rams are a 13-point favorite. Rams lost last week because of Matthew Stafford.
0-4 in November.
This is a must-win for the Rams. Crazy to say, but it's December football. It's Tom Brady. He said it best. Matthew Pat Stafford or Stat Padford, whatever Cole says, has to step up to the plate this week against a bad Jaguars football team. Rams have the biggest spread, 13-point favorite. Rams are going to dominate. I think they look the part this Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, the Rams cannot afford to lose this game. I mean, Jacksonville is no good. And if the Rams lose to Jacksonville, they are dead to rights. I just don't think that they might not. If they lose this game and lose like one of the next 3, if they go 2-6 to end the season, they might not even make the playoffs in the NFC this year. So the Rams cannot lose this game. So I've got the Rams winning this game by 14.
Derek Carr, the NFL passing leader, will host the Washington football team defense. Decent defense there. They've got Landon Collins, right?
They suck against the pass.
They got names that don't really show up, I should say. They should, though. But the Raiders are a 2.5-point favorite over Washington football team.
That should be much more.
Taylor Heineke, though, I like the guy.
Yeah, I think he plays pretty well, but he's just not gonna be their guy next year either. I don't
really.
Think so.
I think he will be.
No.
I think they at least give him a shot to lose. But either way, this game, 2.5-point favorite Raiders. This is another game in which the Raiders have to sell it like they're legitimate.
Yeah.
And I think that they do win by probably 6 points.
Yeah, I've got the Raiders in this game as well, but this is a big game for Heineke. I mean, if he can win this game and win a couple games in December, he might have a chance at being the starting quarterback next season, but this was his chance this year. I mean, he's started almost every game. Fitzpatrick went out early. But if he has a good game and a good December, I think he has a chance at being the quarterback next year, but I don't think it's going to be this game. I've got the Raiders in this game by 7.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, this is always a fun matchup. The Steelers host the Baltimore Ravens. Steelers are a bad team.
Is that a night game?
It's a 4:25 game.
Thank God. Okay.
Would you sleep through that?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, it's going to be a blowout. 5-5 Steelers host the 8-3 Ravens. Ravens are a 4.5-point favorite. I think they're just considering the fact that they're on the road. It's a rival matchup, but it is going to be a murder out there on the field at Heinz Stadium. Big Ben's awful. Ravens have found their groove offensively. I think Lamar Jackson goes off. After a bad week last week, he had 4 interceptions. They somehow won. The defense played well. I think you're looking at a close game. I think 24-13, Ravens win.
That's pushing it. You think the Steelers are going to put up 13? That's a lot.
Well, Chase Claypool made some very stupid comments. I think he has to stand up for himself.
I just don't think Roethlisberger is right mentally or physically. I mean, we thought he watched a lot of film when he had COVID. We thought his arm was going to be strong, but he came out there and laid an egg against the Bengals last week. I mean, he sucked. And then they have a thing where they're like attracted to drafting TikTok stars as their receivers. Juju Smith, now Chase Claypool, wants music at practice whenever they suck. I mean, I saw him make a 30-yard catch. They're down 40-3. And he's celebrating against a practice squad cornerback because the Bengals were starting practice squad players last week. I mean, they're down by 37 points and he's celebrating. I just don't like the guy at all.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he sucks. Roethlisberger sucks. I feel bad for Tomlin. I mean, he's going to lose his streak of having a winning record every season.
15 years?
Yeah, it's gone. There's no way they're going to win it this year. I mean, Mason Rudolph's the backup. You can't just go to him either. And Dewey Haskins, I've heard some bad stuff about him as well. So I've got the Ravens in this game by 14. Even if the Ravens could go out there and not put up any points in the first half and still win the game. That's just how bad the Steelers are. And TJ Watt's on the COVID list. I mean, they've got nothing going for them.
We saw Russell Wilson take over last week on Sunday Night Football. Yeah. Again, and he'll play this week against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go with Seattle. I know they're terrible, but I've said it on the podcast earlier this year. I will never pick Jimmy G to win a football game. I'm going to stick with that. And I don't necessarily think that Seattle is a better team by any means, but I just do not like Jimmy G enough to where I'm not going to pick them. Well, I think Seattle squeaks out a victory here at home. They are home. If there is such thing as a 12th man in a three-win season, it's this game in which the crowd will have a factor in this.
I mean, Seattle just signed Adrian Peterson to their practice squad.
I didn't see that.
I don't know if the 49ers have anyone on their defense under the age of 10, but he might get the start if they do because they need a running back, and Adrian Peterson is known at doing good against 10-year-olds. But I've got San Francisco in this game. They've got a good running back. They've got a decent defense. Deebo Samuel's out this week, but Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback that can win you games just by playing smart. He's a worse Mac Jones, honestly. He doesn't make awful decisions. He just doesn't have the talent to throw the ball deep. So I've got San Francisco in this game easily beating Seattle because I think Seattle's 3-8 right now. They are absolutely done. They've got nothing to play for. Pete Carroll's out after this season. That team's going away. I don't even think Russell Wilson's going to be there next year. I think that team's gone.
Yeah, he's going to leave. Both those guys are out.
That team should have gotten blown up this year before Russell Wilson got injured. But, I mean, if I was Russell Wilson, I'm trying to get out last season because the Bears were looking at a new quarterback. A lot of decent teams were looking at a new quarterback, and the Bears ended up going for Justin Fields, which was a mistake in my opinion. So, I've got San Francisco in this game.
Russell's already done because we saw the 2-point try to tie the game, right?
And DK Metcalf's open.
Wide open. Waving.
But DK Metcalf has changed his hair color more times than he's caught a football in the last 4 weeks. So
mentally, he's not all there. That's what
he sucks.
Yeah,
he sucks.
Our final game, you already picked this game as your hot take.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs host the Denver Broncos. Broncos win is what you say. I think the Chiefs have to win this game in terms of proving the world because it is an 8:20 kickoff on Sunday Night Football. They have to show out. Patrick Mahomes knows what's on the line. His brother knows what's on the line. Jackson's going to do something crazy to go viral. I think Pat Mahomes shows out. They're a 10-point favorite. I think the Chiefs dominate this game. But Pat Mahomes is going to get tested. Don't get me wrong. They've got a good secondary there.
He has
to
get tested, I think, every week for COVID.
Yeah, well, he's going to get tested twice. Once for COVID and once for his talent this year.
The Broncos have a great secondary.
They do. But I'm still going Chiefs. They're going to win by, I think, 10's fair.
Yeah.
35.
I don't blame you for picking the Chiefs in this game.
24.
I'm going with the Broncos in this game. I mean, I'm going to be asleep at halftime. I got finals on Monday. I'm not going to be able to see this game. But I think the Broncos are going to make my wish come true, and I'm going to wake up to a Broncos W. And I think I'm going to see Teddy Bridgewater eating his gloves in W form. So I've got the Broncos in this game. I think the Broncos are going to play well. Even if they don't win, it's going to be a close game because this is going to be a big game in playoff implications. And if Broncos win this game, they have the same amount of wins as the Chiefs. So it's a big win.
And we've already talked about Monday Night Football game. The Buffalo Bills host the New England Patriots. So we're going to skip on that. We'll do the nightcap here. Oh, we're missing a game here. Arizona at Chicago. Didn't see that.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to let you lead the way on that one because
Arizona is going to win this game. Kyler Murray's back this week. There are a lot of similarities between the two quarterbacks, Murray and Fields. I think Fields will play this week. If not, they've got a better chance at winning with Andy Dalton. You've always got a better chance at winning with the veteran. But the Cardinals are a pretty good team. Kyler Murray back. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game by 10.
So there you go. That's our pick 'em up, pick 'em of the week right here on the Chris Mathis podcast. Again, we live tweet during several NFL games, college football games, basketball games, the whole 9 yards. Check out our Twitter to keep up with us on a day-to-day basis. When I say day-to-day, we're tweeting every single game, it feels like. TCM_pod. Easy as that. Check out the Instagram. We'll hype up this podcast, TCM_pod. And more importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, TCM_pod, as we have our friend Corey Crouch do amazing thumbnails. We're going to work on that right now.
Yeah, hit the like button, subscribe,
share the video,
tell a friend. And if you don't, if you do, good things will come your way. If you don't, I'm not going to say bad things will come your way, but you never know.
With that, we'll call it a show. As always, thanks for joining us here on the Chris Mathis podcast. 8 weeks in. Glad to have you guys be a part of the show.